So, how to actually never waste time anymore? That is the subject we are going to talk about, and there are a lot of different things you need to know in order to really make sure you're not wasting time on the wrong things. So let's quickly dive into the explanation that I have on how you can never lose time, because a lot of times there are a lot of people that are really wasting time every single day by focusing on the wrong things. And then people can literally waste like a year, 2 years, 3 years and never get to their goal just because they're focusing on the wrong things. So how do you not waste time? Focus on the right things. But how do you actually focus on the right things, and how do you know where to focus on? First of all, there needs to be a planning. We need to analyze things, and we need to process information and look at your company's history. So there are a lot of different things that I just mentioned, 4 things. But first of all, in order to focus on the right things, you need to make sure you have good information in order to correctly see the world and take the right actions. So you need to have a source of information on the internet or a mentor or whatever in order to actually make sure you're focusing on the right things at the right time. Because for your company and your stage, it might be completely different actions than another company at a different stage. Because for example, with our company, we are booking like 150 plus meetings every month, and I am not 100% focused on booking even more appointments right now. Where I am focused on is completely different than someone should be focused on if they're not getting any appointments. Because if you have an agency, for example, or you have a coaching business and you're not making any revenue, then the first thing you should focus on is actually getting appointments. Because getting appointments gives you eventually more money and gives you clients. So it's completely different from us than for eventually someone else. And so it's also really important to really filter the information and choose the right people to listen to. With filtering the information, I mean what I just mentioned, like, okay, is this actually valuable for me at my stage? What is the context around the information that I got? Because if someone says like, hey man, you should immediately hire like sales closers, and he's explaining that on the internet, but if you only have like 1 appointment a week, you don't need a sales closer. So we need to really always properly analyze the information that we get to see what we need to execute on and what we not need to execute on. And you can also see it as sort of action brackets. So for every single stage in a business, you need to do different things in order to grow the business. And if someone gives you information, like for example, an 8-figure entrepreneur gives you a lot of information and talks to, in a podcast, to another 8-figure entrepreneur what he should do. That information is valuable to a certain degree, but you always need to think about action brackets. And this guy, he's already at like an 8-figure level. So the actions he needs to take in his business are completely different than the actions you need to take if you're starting out. Because for example, going from 1 or actually zero revenue to like 10k in revenue every month, it's completely different than what you need to do to go from 100k to $1 million a month. It's completely different actions. And so you need to make sure that you focus on the things that are relevant for you right now in your business stage. Meaning that you set a goal and eventually you need to see what do you need to do in order to achieve that goal. Look at the first thing you need to achieve first. So if you are at 0 revenue and you're going to go to 100k in revenue, first do the actions that bring you to 10k in revenue instead of doing the actions that brings you 100k in revenue. Because 10k is the first goal. And if you're thinking about what actions do I need to take to go to 100k and you're completely new to business and all of these different things, then it might be overwhelming for you and you might not really focus on the right things. And I really see this so many times that I'm speaking to certain people that are not really making that much revenue, and they're focused on building systems to get a better backend and to really make sure that the backend is stable and that you can deliver and all of these things, while they're not actually getting clients. So why should you focus on building the backend and making the backend more stable and better and automating a lot of different things, or you're not actually getting clients. So then probably the person got some information from someone that said like, yeah, you need to build systems and these things. So the person got that information, but he didn't filter it through like which stage the older guy is, what context he's saying it in, and what stage the older guy is, and what kind of actions he needs to take. So meaning that the person is going to build systems because he once heard it from an 8-figure entrepreneur or a 7-figure entrepreneur while he didn't have clients yet. And this is a mistake I made in the past as well. I was focusing on building systems and automating things and creating SOPs and all of these things, while like a couple years back we didn't have that much clients. So I was literally focusing on the wrong things because I thought that was like one of the things I should do. And so it's just really important to understand the context in where someone is saying it, what kind of level are they in, and who are they talking to if it's a podcast, to make sure you're actually filtering that information and execute on the right things. Besides that, you also need to have space to think and analyze. So when you have all that information, first of all, make sure you're choosing the right people to listen to, that are actually already on the level that you want to be or have a certain skill that you want to learn. Then filter it through what kind of context are they saying it in, and what kind of things I need to do for my business to actually really grow the business. And in order to filter everything and in order to really understand where you need to focus on, you need space to think and analyze. Because if you are always you're working, let's say 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and you don't really spend time thinking, or you don't really spend time like not doing anything at all, then you don't really have a lot of space in your brain to come up with new ideas, and you don't really analyze your business properly. So if you, for example, have like half a day every single week to just think, to analyze, to see what kind of new information you have and filter it, then eventually, if you have that space to think and analyze, you can make far better decisions and you will focus on the right things more often. Because if you're in the weeds and you're really like crushing your goals, you're executing, but you're never thinking and you're never seeing your business in the helicopter view and filtering information, analyzing your business, then it's hard to really focus on the things. Because you're inside your business, you're like in a box, you think you need to do things, and you're not stepping outside of that box to actually view all the sides of the box. So make sure to get the right information. Think about action brackets, which kind of actions need to take to go to a certain level. Because the actions you need to take to go from 7 figures to 8 figures, completely different than the actions you need to take to go from 0 to 10K. So make sure to analyze all the information and have space to think and analyze. A quick other thing as well, when you have more free time, so for example, you are just like walking around in the woods without a phone, for example. What happens then is that your subconscious mind is actually giving you ideas. So most of the time, especially with entrepreneurs that are really focused on achieving a certain goal, their subconscious mind will actually think about that goal while they are asleep, while they're not doing anything. And the only way to get these ideas and actually understand and hear what your subconscious mind is thinking about, the only way to hear these things is to have some free space in your mind so that your subconscious mind can actually get you these ideas. So if you never have free time, or you never have thinking time, you never have rest, then your subconscious mind can actually not really explain you the things your subconscious mind had thought about. So make sure to always have some space in your day to get some information from your subconscious brain, because literally your subconscious brain is much more smarter than your conscious brain. And if you don't give it space to give you ideas, then you won't get those ideas. So that's important. Make sure you have the right information. Then it's important to prioritize on the most important things that actually move the needle in the stage of your business. So look at all the things you can do, look at your goal, and then actually reverse engineer to see what you need to do today and the following week and the week after to eventually hit that goal. And then you need to be focused on the daily activities to eventually hit your weekly goals. And if you hit your weekly goals, you will hit your monthly goals. If you hit your monthly goals, you will hit your quarterly goals. If you hit your quarterly goals, you'll hit your yearly goals. And to really plan everything out, that's for another video, but it's just important for you to know to process the right information, filter it, have time to think, and eventually reverse engineer the goal based on your stage, see what kind of actions you need to take to get to that goal as fast as possible, and then execute on the daily things every single day. Because if you just execute on the things you need to do on a daily basis, you will eventually achieve that goal. So that was it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.